Hey everybody, it's Sadler, and welcome back to Shining Song Starnova. Then last we left off, well, it seems like Producer Son and the other members of the Starnova management are planning on getting the girl Starnova involved in ads for military recruitment, which is an interesting venture. This is going to be weird, as I've stated before. Sorry, I'm very unprofessional. I was checking something that popped up on my phone, which I still have muted. Despite the gusto I displayed in front of the men last night, I had some doubts about Kodama's latest lead. Okay, express your doubts because that's probably reasonable. Of course, it was best to keep up appearances and act the part of the confident producer in front of my superior coworker. However, where deal-making was concerned, I found it best to approach things more conservatively after analyzing all the pitfalls. While I had dealt with government contracts before, this would be the first time that I would be dealing with the military. Yeah, which could in turn have very conflicting reactions from the public. It could be lucrative, and there would of course be some who support it, some who don't, and those who don't support it would probably have differing reasons. You did different camps for negative backlash, really. First, was Kodama's lead accurate, or was it just empty gossip? Of course, just a cursory glance at the news would lead one to believe trouble was brewing for the national government. While Japan was ostensibly a nation of peace, 2018 was already a year of many bubbling anxieties. Oh, God. 2 years ago, fuck. Of course, nobody was really going to pull the trigger and mess up the good situation everybody had spent the better part of the past half-century building up. But the reality was that nobody wanted to be caught with their pants down either. Of course, Japan's international relations didn't really concern me very much. I was merely a salesman of girls. War and politics really weren't any of my worries. Well, the bottom line was that no matter the place or time, men have always chased after their girls. And what organization needed men more than the army? Surely there was a lucrative opportunity here, even in peaceful Japan. Yeah. With that analysis justifying my inquiry, I decided to look into who was in charge of enlistment efforts at the local JSDF office. Oh boy. After some phone calls, the gears of my newest venture began to turn. The man who seemed to oversee media relations at the enlistment office was a colonel by the name of Tanaka. That name sounds familiar to me. Of course, I wouldn't be so bold as to try to convince him directly. After all, who was I to him, but just another one of those sleazy guys in the entertainment biz. You're gonna send Nemo, aren't you? Oh, okay, never mind. Instead, Kodama hooked me up with one of the colonel's drinking buddies, who was going to take care of the initial introductions. Of course, after that, it would be entirely up to me to make my point and get our deal going. Well, since this was unexplored territory, it would be best to have one of the girls tag along with me. There's Nemo's involvement. You know, to give the colonel a small sample, or a pair of very large samples, of the goods I had available, I considered my options. On the downside, our anniversary live was coming up, and the girls' schedules were already stretched thin. Lately, practice sessions with all hands on deck had become an increasingly rare occurrence, thanks to each of the girls having their own deals. Ideally, I had to arrange everyone's schedule so the whole team would be able to practice together at least 4 times before the anniversary live next month. Of course, I couldn't run the girls ragged at such an important juncture either. The last thing I wanted was to have to deal with injuries or illnesses. I exhaled, weighing the pros and cons in my head. Well, this could be a really big deal. I had to go all in and bring Nema with me. Duh. I'll just have to squeeze it in along with all the other things she was doing. At least I was confident she'd be able to handle it. Yeah, we'll see what she thinks of it though. Or she may just bite her tongue and go along with it, whether she likes it or not. Sometimes you just had to do what you had to do. Anyways, I better arrange a meeting and let Nema know what's going on. Well, I could just send her an email, look at the schedule, and saw that she was just finishing a photo shoot for a car advertisement. Plus, this might be the kind of thing better broached in person. Well, I wouldn't be doing my job properly unless I took care of my talents. Interpersonal relationships were what made deals happen, after all. I stood and headed out of the office. Yep. I managed to arrive just as Nemo was leaving the building, in time to reach this, background again. Ara, good evening, Producer-san. Could something be the matter? Or did he simply want to see me? No, there's nothing wrong. In fact, I've got good news. Looks like you could have a new big job on the horizon. My. A new client? Yeah. That Kodama gave me a tip that the military might be interested in collaborating with idols for the recruitment efforts. Who knows? This could be pretty big. I set up a meeting with the colonel who works at the JSDF's public relations branch, but I'd really like your help to close this deal. I know your schedule's been hectic lately, but this could be our big chance to grab a big client. I see. The military certainly has been trying to connect with the younger generation lately, hasn't it? Very well. I shall help you in this endeavor any way I can. Oh, very professional of you. Alright. Yes, that's the way. Now, all I had to do was this isn't... I went on automatically assuming this was more dialogue. Yes, that's the way. Now, all I had to do was flatter her a bit so that she'll be more than eager to shock and all that colonel with her pair of howitzers. Okay. Better than fuck. What was Akari's nickname for Claude? Chest rockets? That was it, wasn't it? I think. Ah, thank you. As expected at the center of Starnova. Ha ha ha! It's just the way it's written just looks so unnatural. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Also, stop that! Oh, producer-san, my eyes are up here, you know. Were you actually staring at her? Busted. Poor choice of words. Busted again, huh? But thank you for taking note. Anyways, we got a busy month ahead of us. I almost said busty month because bleh. Not only that, but KP Ling wants you back to model for the spring lineup. There's another handshake event in Akiba coming up, and of course, there's the anniversary live as well. Sounds like we've truly become popular idols, no? You've got that right. But in this biz, all that can disappear in a flash. So let's do our best, alright? Understood, producer-san. Well, I would love to spend the evening with producer-san. I regrettably have an appointment with my mother tonight. Your mother? Well, better not be late then. Let me know if anything happens. Uh-oh. After bidding me farewell, Nemo hurried back to the Amaterasu building and entered the elevator to the CEO's office. It had been some time since Haruna had last wished to speak to her. Could this be a sign of trouble? Maybe. That seemed less likely thanks to Starnova's newfound popularity. The days of bearing herself out to the ogling eyes of the masses on the pages of gossip rags were long past now. Perhaps admitting nothing to do with Nemo's profession. That would be the positive way of looking at it, but I can't help but be a little bit pessimistic. Also just paranoid. The elevator arrived at the top floor and dinged as it opened. However, what she saw next confirmed Nemo's worst fears. Great. Akimoto Nemo-san, the freshly minted center of Starnova, the next big Japanese icon. My pleasure to see you. Hello, Evil Shields. Kamajo stood from his seat on the sofa and approached Nemo all smiles. However, she could sense a deep cunning behind his honey words. What was the likes of him doing here? Nemo, I'm afraid my meeting with Kamajo-san ran longer than expected. Can you wait a little? No, the fault rests all with me. Let us continue this discussion at the time. Haruna wore a well-practiced smile and spoke like a warm matron. Now, there's no need, Kamajo-san. Sure, we can close this deal today. Time with the family is a precious thing. My interest in this matter is unwavering, but the truth is that I still have personal responsibility to fill at this time as well. Very well, I look forward to speaking to you again. Then I bid my leave. Kamajo smiled at Nemo as he walked past her and entered the elevator. But to her, he bore the sadistic look of a wolf about to devour his prey. This man is up to no good. No shit. As soon as the elevator closed behind her, Nemo turned to her mother. What was that about? What was that man doing here? He brought me a business proposition, which I am not permitted to share the particulars of. Any matter does not concern you, so you can rest easy. Rest easy? That man sought to sabotage us beforehand and wouldn't hesitate to attack us again. How can you say it doesn't concern me? Nemu, in business, the enemies of yesterday can become the allies of tomorrow if your interests converge. Haruna sighed as if chiding a foolish child. That's not even why I called you here today. Your father's been called to America on urgent business. He wanted me to get you to the airport tomorrow morning before he left. Business? When will he be back? It's hard to tell. Possibly up to a month. No way. Nemo felt her heart sink. Not only had her mother invited the enemy over to the office, but now Nemo's greatest supporter will be on a plane headed overseas for the immediate future. Dark clouds began to gather, blotting out the recent optimism which had been holding back that which had slept dormant inside of her for the past few months. You mean the crazy? The yandere? Is this really a coincidence? Or did Haruno plan all this out? Could she be plotting to do something with Kamijo while father is missing? If she is, I can't let her destroy everything we've worked so hard to achieve. So, will you be seeing your father off tomorrow? Eh? Nemo jerked back to reality. Normality. Oh, then I'll get in contact with Producer-san and see if I can take a few hours off. Good. Then I'll see when I get home. With that, Haruno returned to her desk, wasting out a breath before immersing herself in work. When Nemo opened her cell and sent a message, her mind drifted elsewhere. The blue skies of yesterday seemed to be at an end. Now, foreboding clouds zoomed on the horizon. Things were going so well. I just hope this is a misunderstanding. It's probably not. There's probably some kind of conspiracy going on, and I could conspirate, but I'm not going to waste my time or yours with that, because I could go fucking on. The wonders of having an overactive mind, right? February 15th. Having received a message from Nemo that she needed to take some time off work to bid her father farewell for a business trip this morning, I was pressed from the moment I woke up to reschedule all of her appointments for the day. Oh, you poor thing. While it's all vital like Nemo, suddenly having to postpone jobs at the last moment could be interpreted as lack of professional courtesy. Given Nemo's close relationship with her father, I had no choice but to assent to her request. Plus, it's just called common decency. In any matter, it was for sudden contingencies such as these that idols have producers. I wouldn't be earning my pay if I couldn't make this work. Right about as I finished rescheduling Nemo's jobs, Mika meekly entered the office. Good morning, Black Knight. Ah, yeah. You're still on your Junie. Okay. Oh, Mika. What are you doing here? I glanced at Mika's schedule and found an empty slot. Huh. Looks like she wasn't down for the day. I must have overlooked that. In fact, upon closer inspection, Mika's schedule still had a bunch of holes in it. Out of all the girls, she seemed the least busy. They must have been so busy promoting Nemo that Mika was getting neglected. Well, I couldn't have that. Despite not being the sitter, Mika was a member of the team too. Looks like you're not scheduled for any jobs today. Indeed. Perhaps this means I must practice more. If the Black Knight does not have anything needing assistance, this one shall hurry downstairs to go through the training regime once more. Well, hey Mika, you like anime, right? Yep, of course. Well, I know this job for a bit in an anime that's supposed to, for a bit part in an anime that's supposed to be airing next season. It's just a line or two as a background character, but it'll be a good way to get your foot in the door for future opportunities in the seiyuu business. You would do that for me, Black Knight? Of course. I'm the producer, aren't I? Black Knight, so I see that my time has come at last. If it is my voice that you require, then this one shall endeavor to deliver the finest background character I can muster. That's the spirit. I'll put you down for the next job, for the job next month then. If I happen to hear about any more voice recording opportunities, I'll be sure to send them your way. Understood, Black Knight. I'm ready to lay down my life for this effort. When morale recovered, Mika went downstairs to practice by herself. And now we're staring at the sky. The life of a successful talent manager was not one of leisure. I don't say this to toot my own horn. I'm just pointing out that I constantly have to be on the lookout for new opportunities for my idols. But one girl might be a hot property, another girl could be languishing in her shadows. And the crazy thing was that the situation could be reversed within weeks. Every girl had periods and they were inundated with more jobs than they can handle, and conversely slumps when people avoided them like the plague. Honestly, I couldn't really figure out why some people suddenly became popular while others lived in complete obscurity. Sure, Layman pointed out the popular entertainers had some kind of talent and worked hard to get there. Unfortunately, having worked in the industry, I knew that wasn't the case at all. For every dozen lucky ones that happened to get popular, there were 100 more talented and more hard-working hopefuls living in sad obscurity. Boring people like me got a cut of the money that more interesting characters moved because we were supposed to give hopefuls a shot at the spotlight. If we didn't elevate our workers so the people would notice our abilities, we would be nothing more than parasites leeching the blood out of already desperate entertainers struggling to make a living. Dark! Yeah, as as Natan might say about something Maria said. After a few hours of, or Aki in some cases, after a few hours of looking into job opportunities for Mika, I heard the door open. Pardon me for the unexpected schedule change. I've returned from the airport. Welcome back. I managed to reschedule your morning, but we've got to get going for your shoot with KP Ling right away. Come on, I'll go with you to smooth out any troubles. Understood. I'm sorry for causing problems. This is not something that you caused. It couldn't really be helped. I phoned for a cab and rushed out of the office. Fortunately, Kimura-san didn't seem that nonplussed by Nemu's sudden schedule change. Still, I wasn't about to risk souring such a big business relationship over a small mishap. After apologizing profusely to the staff, we began the photo shoot. Okay. I stood in the back as Nemu returned from the makeup room in a sophisticated black dress. No doubt that dress probably cost more than what I would formerly have made in a year. However, as the photographer began to shoot away, I noticed a problem. Nemo-chan's not quite her usual self, is she, Producer-san? Yeah, but why am I flubbing now? Indeed. I clenched my teeth as a lackluster showing went on. Nemo's usual cool aura of high-class sophistication was entirely absent today. While her body was present, all the characteristics of KP Lang specifically paid for in this deal were gone. After the cameraman finished with the first batch, Kimura-san walked over to one of his superiors and began to chat. While I couldn't hear what they were saying, I was certain it couldn't be good. Sensing approaching trouble, I motioned for Nemu. Something the matter? You seem off your game today. It may just be that I'm a little distracted. Distracted? I hadn't expected that my father would be overseas for so long. Thought of being alone with just my mother for so long isn't... but I'm sorry, Producer-san. This is awfully unprofessional of me, isn't it? What am I doing? Alright, I'll erase these thoughts from my mind and do my best. That's... Yeah, let me just shove down my own emotions and be a little machine for you. Oh, God. Professionalism and self-sacrifice, all sort of bullshit. It just makes me very uncomfortable and I feel a little dirty. Nemo took a deep breath and returned to the set. Kimura walked back to me, having finished his discussion with the superior. Before I could say anything, I cut him off apologetically. I'm so sorry, Kimura-san. It looks like this take wasn't Nemo-chan's best. How about we redo these photos? Most likely she was just momentarily distracted. Well, it just can't be helped then. Very well, let us retake these photos. I crossed my arms as the shoot restarted from the beginning. While Nemo's composure improved, she still wasn't at 100%. These shots were worth just 70 points at best, barely good enough. A tense atmosphere came over the hall. I could sense that every head in the room was beginning to wonder if Nemo really was the right girl for the job. Most likely they were murmuring to themselves along the lines of, most girls nowadays do only their 15 minutes of fame, then tumble off the stage one way or another. I couldn't let that suspicion gather more evidence and become a firm conclusion. My reputation was on the line here too. If talks better with the center of Starnova disappointing KP Ling, then what was going to happen to the rest of us? Thanks to our recent successes, we had forgotten the #1 rule of the showbiz. Treat every job as if it could be your last. And it still looks like she's not quite there yet. I'm sorry, why don't we call a short break while I speak to Nemo-chan? Kimura sighed to himself and shook his head. If that's your decision, Producer-san. With that, Kimura pulled out a pack of cigarettes and called for a smoke break. The group followed him out, leaving the two of us alone. While the hall was empty, I spoke to Nemo off to the side. I'm sorry, Producer-san. Given the stakes here, I had to get Nemo back in the game's stat, or else this is just going to be end up an embarrassment for Starnova. I mean, oh, god damn it. Okay, you know what? I'm going to end the episode here. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time when I make a choice. Oh, this is going to be fun.